speaking of, let's talk about what's happening as far as India's point of view is concerned, where India has launched this blistering attack on Pakistan at the United Nations, accusing Islamabad of hypocrisy and double standards when it comes to the issues of terrorism and regional security. New Delhi said that Pakistan was attempting to mislead the international community while continuing to blame its neighbors for its own problems for its making. Now, India also taken an aim at Pakistan's military actions in Afghanistan, asserting that the massacre does not mean counter-terrorism of civilians and who had paid the price for Islamabad's airstrikes. Calling out what it described as Pakistan's doublespeak, India says that no legal or moral justification could be offered for attacks that violate the sovereignty of another nation.
India would like to emphasize the importance of UNAMA and its mandate and underline our full support to UNAMA in these challenging times as it endeavors to promote peace and stability in Afghanistan. Pakistan, in its statement earlier today, questioned the intent of UNAMA and the veracity of UNSG's report. We would like to stress that support for multilateralism and the United Nations is not an a la carte menu. Pakistan's campaign of military airstrikes against Afghanistan is causing huge civilian casualties and sufferings to the Afghan people. We reiterate Secretary General's deep concern at civilian casualties caused by airstrikes, cross-border firing, and targeted killings as detailed in UNAMA reports. We support the Secretary General's call urging compliance with obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, and ensuring protection of civilians.
Let's connect with Mayank on this. Mayank, good morning. As far as these developments are concerned, India has launched this blistering attack. As far as Pakistan is concerned, the doublespeak, the hypocrisy that has now been also called out. Meanwhile, the world seems to be focusing on two major conflicts, what's happening in the Middle East and between Russia and Ukraine. Pakistan's strikes on Afghanistan is something which India has been calling out.
Good morning, Amita, and good morning to the viewers. The most important point with which I would want to start my views is actually when Osama bin Laden was found in the compound which was closer to the military establishment, one could have made out that the primary conspirator for whatever was happening in Afghanistan was there actually. And since then, the line has been very clear. You know, Balochistan, the way the things have been dealt, and what was earlier federally administered terrible areas, it was converted, subjugated in a way because these men living there hold their pride as far as their tribal tradition is concerned. And the biggest part is actually Durand Line is the one which never was accepted by Taliban government, which is ruling Afghanistan. And this is Pakistan, which has been not only killing its people in its own territory using gunships and tanks. They had been, they started using those same gunships on the other side, which is Afghanistan in this case. But the kind of things on ground, as far as Durand Line is concerned, Afghanistan had been the one, and their military, they had been retaliating and replying in a befitting manner on the Durand Line only. Yes. Also. So what as a whole, what I mean to say is actually they had been, which is Pakistan government has been, and its military actually, nothing like government there. So they had been using force, and in this case military and all, to even hit the civilian areas, because we know that a hospital which was treating people, children and women in Afghanistan was also targeted by these people. So yes, definitely it's a state-sponsored violence against civilians. So, I mean, whatever India's stance has been...
focus also needs to be put out on Pakistan's atrocities there as far as its military strikes that was carried out deep in civilian areas in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, that has also been hit, and several civilians, however, have paid the price for Pakistan's military actions. Please to